Are
Right.
we just gonna talk about it, or are we going to like
Well,
No,
yeah,
just
like
this
I
is
just
the
talk about it.
it's
podcast?
Just
it's
record our standard
yeah.
conversation, please.
So like I kind of want to go beat for beat through the fucking movie.
Oh, I thought there was a podcast you want us to all listen
No, no,
to
no,
called
no,
a
no, no.
Spider-Man podcast, or like an episode of some shit. Okay.
No, I just want to go through it.
Oh my god, there's fire everywhere. The whole jungle's burning down. What?
Why would you do
Okay.
that?
I didn't light the fire. We didn't start the fire. Oh no.
So first thing I'm gonna ask is, how did you guys think they were gonna deal with the fact that everyone knew his identity? Like, even before like we saw the first show of the movie, do you have any idea like whether they're gonna go the spell casting route or you think they're just gonna like wing it essentially?
Obviously, I had no
Um.
idea. No idea Doctor Strange was going to be in it. I kind of thought I would go exactly how the movie went though, with like him being like just like harassed on a daily basis and him like being pissed off about that. But I didn't know how they were going to like take it with Strange and stuff.
There's
I think
a
they teased it in the trailer though that Doctor Strange was going to be in it and he was going to do
Yeah,
some
yeah,
sort of spell.
but
That's
Luke
what
was
I'm saying
talking
before the
about before
trailer,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like at the end
I,
of
I, I,
like
Far
at
From
the end
Home.
of No Way Home or
Far From Home, yeah.
yeah.
What was I gonna say? There's a comic arc that's similar
One Last Day.
where no, that's not One Last Day. It's One More Day, I think.
One more day. Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry.
Anyway, so there's a comic arc where it's like after the Civil War or whatever. Like the actual Civil War, but it's different than obviously the Civil War movie. But he's like he can't deal with like being public like persona, so he like wishes for from like Mephisto, like the devil kind of. He wishes that like everyone forgot like who he was. There's like a whole rabbit hole that goes down where like the devil obviously isn't just gonna let him do that, so he has to like take something away, and so it kind of like resets the entire timeline, like similar shit. So it kind of makes sense that they were going that route. They use Doctor Strange in the movie instead of like Fist of the Devil because they haven't introduced like the devil yet. But that it makes sense to me, like that's what they were gonna do. So it kind of matches up.
That's interesting. Like every theory on like all the like Disney Marvel shows was like, oh, Mephisto's gonna be introduced here. He's gonna be introduced here. And he just hasn't yet.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff because he's kind of like the antagonist, like magical force.
Well, he's in Ghost Rider, right? You know, the Nick Cage fucking Ghost Rider movie.
Yeah, come on. Why didn't they bring Ghost Rider into
Yeah.
the MCU?
Um, my original theory, I know I said this like 2 years ago when like we first saw the end of Far From Home, but it's like, okay, well, they obviously are gonna try to bring other characters into the universe now, so Matt Murdock's gonna be his lawyer, and they can make Deadpool hunt him down as like a mercenary contract because he's the guy who killed Mysterio. Thought that would have been kind of an interesting way to put Deadpool and Spider-Man on screen together, is to have him hunt him down.
Yeah,
And he would have teamed up with Daredevil. I never expected him to do like that, oldest Spider-Man team up kind of thing, or like fight all the villains.
Daredevil was in it.
But yeah, I was happy that the short little cameo we got it from the beginning.
Better than nothing.
They kind of hand waved like all the legal troubles and just said like, "Oh, don't worry, it's an easy case."
Yeah.
Like it just.
Well, like the question is, what do you expect them to like?
I was.
They can't like go into that. Like, yeah, that's gonna take up a huge plot point in the movie. Like, no, bro, we don't have time for that shit.
I was kind of expecting them to handle the way they did like Iron Man 2, where Tony has to like go in front of like Congress, and kind of plead his case for 10 minutes. I was kind of expecting to go that route.
Call everybody a fucking retard.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, I'm glad that like Daredevil was in the movie for what it was, and I guess if they would try to make him like a part of like the big fights, then it would have been too many cooks in the kitchen, a lot of people on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he needs a proper introduction before they just pull him into a Spider-Man movie. There's already too much shit going on.
Also,
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
feel like with they can't bring in Deadpool like that just because Spider-Man is like a more kid-friendly like superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And having Daredevil, or not Daredevil,
Deadpool.
Deadpool come in to like murk him is like uh
Hard to
is
do in PG.
yeah, like how are you gonna be like,
You can't really
oh,
have villains
Well, you
in
basically
PG.
take Deadpool's entire personality away.
You
That's how
gotta
you make it
neuter the
PG, right?
language, or like you like fucking bleep the language, like in the actual
Yeah, just so you
movie,
can
and have him address the
make
fact
it
that his language
comedy
is
and-
bleeped.
Yeah, beep beep beep.
Why are they bleeping what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could see them doing that type of thing. But like, because Deadpool and Spider-Man is like a huge team up in the comics, so I kind of figured at some point they'd want to do something like that. But like, there's no way to do that without it being, I guess, PG, because they're not going to put Spider-Man into R-rated Deadpool, I assume.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
So
think it's going to be really hard to top this movie. So one route to try to go for Spider-Man 4 with Deadpool, like that's an option.
yeah, like that's we can get to that later. But with the end of the movie, so just touch on for 2 seconds. I almost feel like they're going to just try to make it like it's an actual solo Spider-Man now, with the way the movie ended. Like I'm not entirely sure.
No Happy Hogan, no Tony Stark
Yeah,
Industries.
like
bullshit,
literally
just,
make it like a standalone,
yeah, that
at
would
least
be
for the
nice.
next movie.
To be fair though, I really
Yeah.
want to see like a street level like Spider-Man being Spider-Man instead of because he got thrown into the
But-
universe
And then the
with like
MCU,
with like Tony Stark being his daddy and then
which
like
is a
and then
lot
all
of
this
people, including my like huge complaint.
it's not a
Yeah.
problem. It's not a problem if he already had like a couple of like movies where he was like, oh, like
Any
you see him
introduction.
like doing, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um so they're kind of working backwards.
When do we get to see him going through the tall buildings in like the middle of New York and while in the streets? Like, come on.
Yeah, that's my other like massive complaint with just, and I don't know if that's a John Watts as like a director thing or if that's just like,
No, that's a bit of
Marvel?
CGI budget for this. You can't do that.
dude, those movies have such a massive budget. That's absolutely not a fair
You
argument.
say that, but it's also like a 2.5 hour movie where I'm almost positive like 90% of it had some sort of CGI going on at one point or
Oh,
another.
yeah.
So yes, I get it, they have a massive CGI budget, but they fucking use it.
Yeah. Also they
Like in the
rare
Tobey Maguire's,
CGIs.
like in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
They're also pretty big budget as well.
No, I know, but he's more it's more like him or it's like Spider-Man like walking around rather than like massive CGI battles between like all these things. It's like it's more less about Spider-Man as it is about Peter Parker. So you see less of like
Yeah.
Spider-Man fighting like all these crazy villains. It's more like a Peter Parker story.
Yeah, like that's 100% fair. It just it hurts, especially like, so there's the scene where he's in the very beginning of the movie. If we're going back to the beginning, he gets identified. Oh, Spider-Man's Peter Parker, and he needs to like he goes to swing away with MJ. And how do they frame the shot? They frame it as a second person shot where it's you looking at his and MJ's face as they're swinging in the air and the buildings are in the background, but it's a close up shot. It's not like a mid frame or like widescreen shot. So you literally just see some really shitty, like blurred CG buildings in the background of a close up shot of just like a GoPro on his face. Like, I don't know, 30 seconds
But
until he arrives at
it
home.
was like a getaway shot. It wasn't like a cinematic shot.
But then, right,
Yeah,
like,
that's what
that's what I'm saying. I want to see him actually swing through
Yeah.
skyscrapers because it's Spider-Man. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense for that shot to be like a big cinematic like swing through the city shot. That's what I'm
It doesn't have to
talking.
be like big cinematic. It just has to show. It has to show the environment rather than just zoom in on the face.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Point.
it doesn't need like him to be, you know, a little pixel in this massive.
But the final battle was fairly like swingy, if that's what we want. Like
Yeah,
So-
the final battle were cool. Singular piece. It was like just a statue of Liberty.
My issue with the final,
Yeah.
jumping all over the place, but yeah, my issue with the final battle in terms of like, yes, it was swingy and you got some sort of scale, but the like in the very beginning of the ending fight, Sandman like vortexes around the scaffolding of the Statue of Liberty, and it blocks out like 75% of the bottom portion of that scaffolding. So, like, it pretty much frames it only in, I don't know, like let's say 30 feet vertical of where the actual portion of the action's taking place. And so it's not allowing for a lot of like height conflict as much as it is vertical. Like Sandman, Electro, and Lizard are all really fighting on the same like 3 flights of scaffolding. Up until there's the drop scene with Mary Jane, and at the very ending of the battle with Green Goblin, we're fighting on the ground. Everything else is pretty much in just the top 3 like floors of that scaffolding on the Statue of Liberty. And so
What's your issue though?
my issue is that I want to be able to see like, you know, like a wide shot of them actually using like they can shoot those webs pretty far and get a lot of like movement off of swinging. I'd like to see a shot where it's actually like huge distance swinging around the scaffolding. Like so, and the end of Spider-Man 3, like the Tobey Maguire one, they're on a similar like, construction site scaffolding thing, but they use the entire space. Like they have a massive set, and they go top to bottom with the entire scaffolding when he's fighting Sandman and jumps on the glider with Harry, right? So I feel like they're just like it's. You have a character like Iron Man, right? It's, let's say you had Iron Man, but he didn't like fly up into the atmosphere.
Can I get a
thing.
quick sleep going?
I can disconnect, yeah. So to take a character like that who has like super like good vertical momentum, or not momentum, but
I
like
can get a sleep going momentarily.
possibility to go up in the air, like removing that cinematic view for people. Because Andrew Garfield also had that, and it was like good when he did it as well. I'm gonna die here to lava. I'm pretty. I don't know if DCing will fix that.
I'm sleeping.
Oh, okay, I'll
I
disconnect.
gotta murk this dude.
Alright, I'm gonna jump back in 2 seconds because we want to race to the end. What was your favorite scene in the movie? Hey, anyone, jump in.
Blocking the glider down there.
Blocking the glider at the end. Yeah.
Are you sleeping, Sam?
Yep.
Or so 1 out of 3 players? Who's
I disconnected.
me.
Peter's not sleeping.
Running to my bed.
Yeah, I don't want to just say like the portal entrance.
I kind of like them,
But-
them talking like on the Statue of Liberty scaffolding before the actual fight commenced. I thought it was pretty fucking good. It wasn't like much, but it was like pretty well written dialogue. Like the acting was really like well done.
It's just cool to see them interact, right?
it's a daytime now?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people like commenting saying that like Andrew Garfield was definitely the standout in terms of like the second he gets on the screen, like you can see the acting and the charisma go into the character, and like it just kind of like it really steals like the scene in a way that like Toby kind of comes there just very casually, like, hey guys.
Yeah, he definitely was like, yeah, you're gonna pay me the most amount of money, and I'm also not gonna do anything.
It's like I'm just gonna just what's up guys? It's like, are you gonna, what do you say to them? Are you gonna go into combat like a cool youth pastor? And he just kind of looks at him. He's like, yeah, always wearing the suit.
To be fair, the Tobey Maguire movies, even the third one, were still pretty well received. Andrew Garfield ones were not, and then not because of like the acting, because of the fucking script.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the script. Yeah, so when he was given a decent script, like he could.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, like Andrew Garfield. I mean, and they clearly made an effort to poke fun at that as well, like making him Spider-Man 3. Him like kind of like downplaying like, oh, the most cool, or the coolest thing I ever fought was a Russian guy in a rhino suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave him the fucking Gwen redemption scene, which I thought was like extremely well done. And I'm glad
I
they
think
did
the
that.
Amazing Spider-Man movies were definitely the weakest of the three, but I will say the Amazing Spider-Man soundtrack is far superior to both.
I don't think it's better than the Danny Elfman soundtrack with the Sam Raimi trilogy. I don't think it's like as iconic. It's good, but I
Like,
wouldn't put it up there.
actually, I should rephrase that. The Amazing Spider-Man soundtrack hit me far more as a Marvel soundtrack
Okay, sure, yeah,
than the Marvel soundtrack in the movie that we watched.
yeah.
Like I could have almost like flipped the soundtracks and believed that it was Marvel music.
I mean, you kind of bring up a good point there, because now I'm thinking about it. I don't really notice any specific scores in any of the Marvel movies except for like the Avengers theme that always like plays. That way, like, it's a huge moment.
Yeah,
but,
it's always like music, licensed music.
but when it's
Yeah,
whenever it's like another
yeah.
character's movie, I don't actually see it's like I don't know what they have if they're hiring like composers like Danny Elfman
Well-
or whoever hell for like these movies.
Like there's certain movies iconic for their music. See, they're like if you think of Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's licensed.
But it's
music, not
soundtrack,
original
yeah.
music. Yeah. Yeah, I think the Avengers are the only ones that really get like their own.
Like everyone knows the fucking Avengers theme. Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
I mean, the first Spider-Man movie also had like a soundtrack as well, and I think the second one might have as well.
I mean, I'm sure it had like licensed music, but that was never.
That's
like,
what I
it was
mean,
always
yeah.
the themes, like the actual like orchestral themes was always the important.
Yeah.
That's a great.
movies.
Was there any licensed song in
In this
wait,
movie, I don't think so.
I don't remember any. Yeah.
I think
mean,
at
the
the
end
very
credits
end
song, I don't
and
know
the
if that
end
counts.
credit song. Yeah.
Yeah, the end credits had one for sure.
Yeah.
But, like in the actual movie, I don't know. There's like
Yeah, I don't think there
end
was.
credits like 80s rap.
It was De La Soul.
I don't know who
Yeah.
that is. So.
It's like late 80s, early 90s.
All right.
What's
Just
actually
the
other show?
3 makes I forgot what that song was, but um yeah, there was music, like licensed music.
Back to your original question, I think my favorite part was probably when they regrouped after getting their ass kicked for the first couple minutes there in the final fight.
Oh, or is like you guys ever worked in a team?
Yeah, when they regrouped, that was really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really good.
The quick comedy where he's like starts telling the Avengers story and then he snaps out of it. He's like, this isn't helping. And then they like
Yeah.
regroup and they swing out together and like they regroup. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, it's like I was in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool. What is that, like a band?
Yeah, you were in a band?
I mean, like it's a fair point too, because I guess there aren't any other superheroes in
No.
the Tobey and Andrew movies. Like, because I feel like they hinted at like Stark in.
No, in there's other superheroes, but you never see them on in the Raimi trilogy. Like they
I
hint
hint
a
at
bunch
Doctor
of them.
Strange. I
how-
know. I'm pretty sure they hint at Stark as
Yeah.
well. But I guess they just didn't
Yeah,
become like.
There's a bunch that were hinted at there, but they never like they're just like literally nods to the. I don't think they ever had any intention of like bringing them in or anything. Or
Yeah.
greater use at that time. No, I do remember a bunch of that.
And that's one of the reasons why like I love like the TV shows is because you don't have to deal with like, oh well, we have to get this actor and it's licensing issue and blah blah blah. It's just like we're gonna put Wolverine in the Spider-Man episode. Okay, just kind of did it. But you know, it's the whole thing with like them
They just
bringing
hire a
in,
voice actor to do lines. It's nothing crazy.
yeah. Which is, I mean, that's what originally got me excited about like the first.
Yo, James, look at this. Look at my steed.
The first press release for this movie, and it's like, oh, Alfred
Wow, I
Molina's
can't see
back.
Shit.
And at the time, I think he was the only person who was confirmed coming back. So I didn't know if they were just bringing him back to play the same character, or if they were trying to do something
They
more
wanted to
with it.
confirm him early because he was obviously going to be like the trailer.
Villain thing, right?
They're like Marvel plans all this shit out way in advance. So he was like they announced him early because he was going to be like the trailer returning villain. So
Okay, that's another good point. I don't know if this was planned out in advance. I okay, when we say advance, I don't mean like a year or 2 years. I mean like because usually Marvel's plans go back like 5 years minimum. They have a bunch of shit figured out, but with the deals back and forth with Sony and them having the rights to Spider-Man, I don't think they ever actually considered bringing the Spider-Man like together until like I said, like maybe like 2 years ago. When it's just like, oh, because they just came up with a new deal like after Far From Home with Spider-Man and Sony's rights. And that's what I was thinking, like, oh, they're going to put Alfred Molina in this movie, but it's just going to be him. And I thought he was going to be the main villain as well. I didn't think it was going to be Goblin. Because he's also, like, he was in the trailer for like 2 seconds. And just laughed. The most recent trailer, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't expect him to actually be like the
Are you underground here?
main
dude?
bad
How do I
guy.
get to you?
Peter,
Why do none of these villagers want to become a librarian?
I don't know. They should.
Can't fit down there, Pete. You're gonna have to come outside. What are you doing? Can you help me?
Yeah, I'm coming.
And of course, speaking of main villain, fucking Willem Dafoe. It's just like
Yeah, he did.
Absolute
constant,
Chad.
constant
Comes in,
theme.
comes in, the best actor in your movie, refuses to elaborate, leaves. Like, guy just actually crushes it every fucking time he's on screen.
He refused to do the movie, so yeah, let him do all his own stunts too. It was big Chad.
And the fight scenes were like decently fucking brutal. So, like that's the thing too. It's a PG
Yeah,
movie.
this was finally like this was actually the only like hard hitting fucking like MCU movie. Everything else,
man,
like even like
I couldn't
what do you
believe
call
it when they were standing on the shield and Tom Holland was just beating the shit
Oh yeah.
out of Goblin, like just filling his face in, obviously out of anger, but like I could not believe how long they let that go on for and how one-sided it was. Like it's
Well,
so not Marvel.
It's a crazy comparison to like just in terms of like fighting as like they use like their fists, like Spider-Man and like Black Widow, because like that was another pretty recent Marvel movie where she's just like hitting people, but like it doesn't feel the same as when like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like the sound effects or what it is that like makes it feel different, but it's like goddamn, like it actually like felt much more like a.
It's so much more physical. Like
it's more physical.
Yeah.
Like it felt better as like an not as a kid watching the fucking movie, but like actually as like an adult watching
Is
it.
that because she's a woman?
No, it's just it's because they do that shit all the time. Like the Captain America shield literally just like bounces off of people. It's like, bro, you're spinning a piece of metal that's like
and they fall
half
over.
an inch thick, maybe. Like even if it was an inch thick, and this guy's like hurling at you, like it would fucking cut into people. Like they just don't
Yeah.
like do that.
Yeah, wouldn't just bounce off
Yeah.
you either.
Yeah.
I also
People
don't
just, like,
think
get
there's a
back up after.
super secret serum that does.
It's a little bit of a suspense of
I didn't know we were-
disbelief, but I
I
get
didn't
what
know
he's
we were
saying.
watching it for realism. My bad.
No, no, I understand that, but like still, it's the sound effects and like it's the same thing with like honestly like guns in video games. Like if like a gun might like there's been stories and shit where like shotguns people like complain about the shotgun being bad, but then all of a sudden they just like all the devs all they do is they just like change the sound effects and like make it have like a deeper bass and like a bigger explosion, but don't like actually change the damage of the gun. And then everyone so it's like, oh, this is so much better now.
Thinks
Thanks
it's
for buffing
better.
the gun. And
Yeah.
it's like we actually didn't do anything.
Look at
So
this
like
thing.
the feedback's really important.
Run it right to you.
Yeah, like I
Skeleton
mean that's apparently that's why it has like it had a PG-13 rating in like I guess the US, but here it's only PG. And the reason was violence. There was no like blood or like gore really. Like we were kind of touching this earlier, but the only actual blood that I could see, like remember seeing is I think like the scrape on Zendaya's forehead, and then Aunt May, after she got fucking clipped full speed from the Goblin glider,
Yeah, bro,
gets
she,
up
like-
and explodes with the Goblin bomb. Pretty much gets up like, oh, I'm perfectly fine. Like adrenaline, I get that obviously, but like she should have been fucking dead.
I mean, she does die. Like
I know, but I'm talking like fucking Norman Osborn, like Godspeed Spider-Man dead.
Yeah. Godspeed Spider-Man.
Because that's literally exactly the fool me one thing. That's literally exactly what happened. Is she got clipped full speed with a Goblin glider, and then was able to get up and keep walking after
I
it.
don't have it.
And there's like a little
Oh,
pool
Oh
of
wait, I do have
blood
it.
on like her side that you never even saw.
Bruh.
Bro.
I also did any of you guys think they were gonna kill Aunt May?
No.
Because I didn't think for a second they would ever do that.
I mean,
good.
to be honest, who else would they have killed? I didn't really
Yeah.
have
Happy.
a theory, but like they
No.
can't kill MJ. If they kill the best friend, that's possible.
I would have thought Happy.
But I think they're
No,
gonna.
but
I think
Happy's
the
not
best
as much
friend.
impact.
Hard
I
to say
think
now.
the-
Happy's gonna say, with great power comes great responsibility.
It doesn't hit the same. He's already like a comedic character. It doesn't like work that way.
I think. They didn't kill the best friend because I think he's gonna turn into a villain.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think he's gonna turn
Goblin, but I
into
don't-
whatchamacallit. Fuck, I can't remember his name.
Hobgoblin?
It's Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
See, they set him
Hobgoblin.
up to have like magic powers though, which is unless they make him Hobgoblin with magic, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's a little more dead. William's Goblin.
They could also do like, so they would do like Hobgoblin with magic sort of thing, but at the same time, because so the of course movie ends and he chooses to make everybody forget that he's like who not that he's Spider-Man, who Peter Parker is,
Yeah, that's
which
interesting.
is like the
Yeah,
interesting like reset decision.
Feels bad song with the G test. Oh man, having to retake.
Yeah, retake the high school test. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like obviously the huge fucking yikes, but then they could do like Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 3 thing where he's like the best friend who turns bad, but then Peter has to kind of like fight him to remind him that he's like not
Well, but
bad,
did
like
anyone
I'm
else
still your best
catch?
friend.
Did anyone else catch the GED textbook in
Yeah,
his
that's
bag
what-
at the end when they Easter egg that? And then also, MJ was wearing the half broken Black Orchid necklace
The black,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I didn't
read
catch
that.
that when I first watched
the-
that.
in the final scene.
Yeah,
So,
I
like,
thought that.
I think the next movie is gonna be him getting into MIT and like going there, and I think Ned's gonna turn into an evil villain because he hasn't had Peter's like interaction,
Right.
and I think that's gonna be kind of where they go with it. That's what my feeling is.
Yeah, I saw Luke was saying he still had
And
the
MJ
so he went to the guy.
MJ is
cut
gonna
out.
be some sort of in the middle. It's gonna be a very traditional Spider-Man where he's like him, the villain, and the girl type thing. I think that's where they'll go with it.
Yeah.
And give the fans what they want.
Were you saying Regis?
How you're saying earlier, the call up at the end means he kept going cafe for that first interaction.
Yeah, so like
Once-
other people said that he kept it as a momentum, but like I don't think that's what that's showing. I think it's showing like a bunch of time has passed and he's still going back there and keep like getting coffee from like her and talking to her.
No, that was the first. When we saw in the movie, that was the first time he went.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about when he went to the coffee shop. I'm talking about the shot where he's like bringing the boxes into his apartment building and he has a coffee cup on the table. I think that means he kept going back and getting coffee there.
Oh, probably.
Oh, I saw the coffee cup as well, but that's not. I just interpreted that as that the same kind of sequence broke for me. Because like I just figured that was like immediately after he went to like get coffee, then he went into like his new apartment. Whereas I feel like it made more sense to have him get the new apartment first, and then have the last scene in the movie, not him going to the apartment, but him going like to the coffee shop, and then like black screen as he like walks out or some shit.
I don't think like it seems kind of weird to like you finally like the time resets and blah 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 blah, and then your first decision is like, well, I could go see my girlfriend and best friend, but I'm gonna go get a coffee or like, I'm gonna go get an apartment and probably get a job, pay for the apartment. But my aunt's
It's
dead,
not
so
getting a job and paying for the apartment. It's just about my man. Where's he gonna fucking live? Like he literally like that's kind of important to figure that out.
but it's
It's not about get a job. It's just like literally just find a single place to like put your shit in.
I think
You can't just because
hold
he
on.
has like a Spiderman costume on or whatever. Like he has to. I don't know like if obviously this is reading too much into this, but like he has to go back to like Aunt May's dead apartment and like figure out where all this shit is.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he has to figure out where anything is. I think he goes back to the MA's apartment and his shit's still there.
Right. But that's my point is he has to like move it out or whatever if it exists.
Yeah,
I feel like because like I don't know, it's weird.
but he knows where MJ like works, so I think he would have went there before deciding to start moving out all of his stuff.
Hold on. He changed his clothes, and he wrote the note or whatever. So he obviously had to go somewhere to do that.
Yeah,
Where did he do it?
go home.
Aunt May's apartment.
Yeah,
So why can't he just rent her apartment then? Why is he paying rent for that apartment or some shit? Why does he have to go to move to a new place? You can say, oh, because it's too expensive or whatever, but like it still doesn't like really make sense.
oh, that makes sense. That apartment or the house thing that they were living in at the beginning of in the fucking movies would be way more expensive than the shitty little like Spider-Man 2 apartment he moves
Peter.
into at the end of the
fucking
movie.
New York. It's New York. Forget
I
about it.
understand.
Like, there's no way he could afford to live
Yeah,
there if they were
man.
renting that place. So it would make sense that eventually he would go find his own fucking place, but not like the day he gets back into the timeline. I think that makes more logical sense to my book. But yeah, so to touch on like add on to what James said, I don't think he's gonna go like get into MIT in the next movie. I think he's gonna stay in New York and go to Empire State University is the university he goes to in the comics.
How is NYU?
No, it's the fake university, which is Empire State University.
Okay.
The only way I see that happening is if the like timeline change like made it so that exists. Because like I actually think he'll just like go to MIT, or they just like will skip the whole university plot in general.
Because
I just don't know how him and MJ get back together, but I feel like the
Yeah,
Black
'cause-
Orchid necklace has to mean something in the sense that
they'll
like,
bring it up for
it's
sure.
not over. It's not over for MJ
And Peter, yeah, they'll
Yeah,
bring that
even-
necklace up for sure.
even if
I think
even
it's-
if Peter never actually like reintroduces himself, something will happen to her, or she'll be involved in the villain,
There will be like an inscription on it or some shit.
or the villain will know
Yeah, like
about Peter's past
Her
and
memory
know
will come
to
back.
target her, and Peter will have to be like the invisible guardian to protect MJ while not letting her
I can
know
see that.
who
That
he
makes-
is. You know what I mean? But
I'm-
somehow they have to incorporate a villain that knows about their past.
I'm willing to bet a decent amount that they,
But nobody, but
her dad
that can't
eventually
happen.
remember.
But
That-
maybe
storyline
maybe
can't
that's-
happen because everybody forgot who Peter
Hold on.
Parker in.
Wait, Regis, what'd you say? You wanted to bet what?
A lot that eventually Ned and MJ remember him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree.
I wonder if that's how Ned plays into it though. Maybe Peter tells Ned but not MJ, and then Ned goes hobgoblin on them, and then Ned targets MJ, and Peter has to protect MJ while MJ can't know that Peter was involved.
Here's the thing. I just don't
I
see
can
them
see it the
making
other way.
him a
I just- I
villain.
think I
tell
just
MJ
wrote-
and don't tell Ned, and he
I
gets
think I
mad
just wrote
because
the
of it.
whole I wrote the whole damn movie there for you.
All right, I'm gonna push off what you're thinking and here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he tells MJ but doesn't tell Ned. Let's get their memories back somehow. Ned gets pissed that he would tell MJ and not him, and goes evil.
I don't like.
I think it's. I like the necklace play more. I think it's gonna be like there's like an inscription written on the necklace or some shit, and she has to like I don't know like what it looks like, but maybe she has to like unscrew it, like unscrew the black part.
Oh, it's just
like,
broken as
gem
well,
from, like,
right?
from the
Yeah.
from the silver, and like there's like a little note in there or some shit that says to MJ from Peter, and she's like, what the fuck?
Who's Peter?
Something like that
He's
kind of
like,
makes
I'm
sense.
Peter.
But there's I know you haven't seen the necklace, so you can't possibly know, but it's literally was like a like a daisy shaped flower, but it's all
Yeah.
black, and
Okay.
it broke to the point where like 9 out of the 10 or
Like
11
petals
petals
or
are off it.
whatever,
It's just
yeah.
like a circle with 2 petals hanging off of it. But I think the thing is I don't think Peter actually needs the necklace to prove to MJ that they knew each other.
I don't think they need to prove. I'm just saying I think that might be the plot point they use or the object they use to push like her remembering.
Oh, for sure. He'll say, "Who got you that necklace?"
Or like, hey, yeah, like nice necklace. Like, where'd you get? And she'll be like,
I don't
no,
know.
I got it from.
I've just had it as long as I can remember, and then he'll go, "No, I bought that for you." Right?
Yeah.
All right, fellas, it's pretty much day at this point.
Oh, you thinking about sleeping? Yeah, no, I'm just
I just
in the
fucking.
play.
Yeah, why?
The thing with like making Ned a bad guy, it's
I
no
just
offense to
can't
hold
take him
on.
seriously.
It's no offense to
He's
the
the
actor,
comic relief, bro.
but
Like,
Yeah, but
he's
have
a
you
good
seen?
god, but he's
But
just like-
have you seen him like present day as an actor though? He's huge, which is why I think they're asking him to cast as like an evil villain.
What, like muscular huge?
Yeah, yeah. Like he's lost a bunch of weight and he's getting big.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's why I
yeah,
think
it's
he's either doing a different movie or they're casting him as a completely different character.
right.
Because if he was just gonna stay the best friend, I feel like he would just stay fat and goofy.
I was actually thinking that while watching. I was like, man, must be sucked being typecast as fat dude because like you don't get to go on that sick Marvel like workout thing.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm assuming like,
workout regime.
if you want to like fucking like get yoked as like a superhero, you just go, excuse me, Marvel. Yeah, I'd like to get yoked for this movie. And they go, all right, we're gonna hook you up with the trainers and shit. It's like I think like literally everybody who wants to just gets fucking incredibly shredded.
Yeah, it's all the fucking HGH or whatever the fuck they use.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on how old the person
mean-
is and if they have any
I mean, it
fucking
doesn't
work on
depend,
it.
bro. I'm pretty sure they all fucking use that shit.
No, yeah, they all use steroids. Absolutely.
Okay,
That's like that's not even controversial. That's like confirmed.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. Like every actor in Hollywood uses steroids. Just do be a thing.
So yeah, back to the villain thing. Between Electro, Sandman, and Lizard, they were kind of there just to fill up like the screen.
Well, they were there to represent each movie.
Each movie, right? Because they
Oh.
need somebody from each. I mean, hey man, they could have put in Topher Grace fucking Venom,
Lamau.
or pulled
I'm
back
pissed
Harry
off
Osborn.
someone in that movie. What's his
Flash
name?
Thompson from Amy trilogy.
What's his name? What's the actor's name?
Who Sam?
Oh,
Joe
Flash
something.
Joe. Is it John or
Oh, Joe Manganiello,
Yeah.
Flash Thompson. Yeah.
Wouldn't want to fight me neither.
Okay, so,
See-
or yeah, you go first.
One thing I will say is I'm upset that they're now talking about the Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yep.
Because I really wish the Russian Rhino was in this movie. I
No,
really wish
it was so
that
bad,
happened
dude.
So that we could have the Russian Rhino accompany the rest of them.
That character with Paul Giamatti was so bad.
I really think he would have added something to the movie.
Yeah, you would've been sick, dude.
I don't
Would
believe
be a
you.
good thing that they had.
Well, they don't have right now the villains that they casted. There was no psycho like funny guy. Like they were all
That
all
was
pretty
supposed
serious.
to be like Electro.
Yeah, but he's not
But
funny.
yeah, they kind of I was not neutered
Oh, yeah,
this
That's the
character.
other thing we're talking about. It stopped being Electro and it started just being Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
That's really what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For whatever reason they did that. They made him to like not be like nerdy. You know, I mean, and they poked fun at it as well. Like
Say for whatever reason, but I got a theory.
Reese.
Jamie Foxx shows up and is like, "Yo, I'm not doing this fucking nerd shit. I'm a black man. I'm just gonna play myself."
The lizard guy said to him was like, "Oh, last I remember of you, you had a comb over and like fucking glasses and shit like that." And he's like, "Oh, I've upgraded." He said something along the lines of like, "I'm a changed person. I've upgraded," something like that.
He said like, "Man, this arc reactor has been giving me the juice. I feel great," or some shit.
No, Luke's talking about.
I'm talking about
that.
before when they like in the like
When they,
captured. like the sanctum thing.
Yeah.
Look, I've added Bear to your staircase.
Is he
Yeah.
turning?
What was I about to say?
I also thought Electrode was like slightly underpowered for what he is.
Yeah.
Electrode.
Like
He was
even when-
zapping fucking one of the Spider-Mans with the arc reactor
I think
power.
it was
and, like,
Toby. I think he was
think
literally
it was
zapping
Andrew.
the. You might be right. It was one of them, but he was zapping the fuck out of them, and they were just
Yeah.
eating it. It's like, pretty sure that should like fucking destroy you,
well, even the first fight though, when Tom Holland goes to find him,
in, like the forest.
like I get that he's powered by electricity, but like all you did was pull down the KV lines. You didn't kill him. Why did he just fall out of the sky and become nothing?
It says the workstation might be claimed by another.
Yeah, I don't remember if
villager.
Yeah, but I
from
keep breaking it, so they unclaimed every time you break
if from
it.
the movie, the second Amazing Spider-Man movie, if he needs to actually be near like electricity in order to function. It's like he's charged up, right? But then can he not continue to fight without being next to
Yeah.
the fucking like, power lines? So yeah, that
Well,
was
because
kind
there was
of
no.
weird.
I can tell you for a fact. I guess because he had the arc reactor, he was fine at the Statue of Liberty. But
Yeah.
there's no fucking electricity by the Statue of Liberty. I can tell you that much.
There might be a
Yeah.
couple like lights.
That
Yeah, but
counts.
not enough
Yeah.
to power him. I don't know.
I'm not exactly sure there either. And then Sandman, like Thomas Hayden Church, and I forget the guy's name, Reese Efron or something like that. Neither of them were actually like in the movie.
They just used old
They
footage.
used
yeah.
old footage for both of them.
Well, yeah, is that
Lizard and
Sandman?
Sandman, yeah. Neither of them were in the movie. 'Cause I saw like I guess it was like a scene comparison thing, and it's the lizard's like dying scene is the same scene they used for when he gets like the antidote. And it shows like the actor kind of like turning back into like his normal human form. Is like the exact same scene ripped from the old movie. It's just kind of annoying, but at the same time, I'd rather they do that than just never show them in their human form.
Yeah.
Because it would have kind of like defeated the purpose of like curing them, but then never showing their face. And then you get the like little interaction with like Toby talking to Sandman. I think he says something like, you're gonna be able to go home or some shit like that. It's kind of
Yeah, it was
nice.
Victor, you can't make a staircase up here. That's why they got destroyed
Oh,
last time.
Second one that I got was mending.
So
Oh wait.
pacing wise, like the movie was 2.5 hours.
It was quite long.
The third act, I think, like if you had to
Dude.
break the movie down, I think the
How much
first.
does it cost for you?
Would you go first?
Okay, never mind.
You good?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first act essentially ended like right after either right before or right after the bridge fight. Like I don't know how long the beginning of the movie where they're like talking about MIT and then he wants to go to Doctor Strange to get the spell reversed, but I feel like that took like 45 minutes, that entire section. There's a lot of time before like you actually met any of the villains. I think like maybe I'm like wrong about pacing. And then the next 45 minutes was
I think you're probably right. It was like half an hour to 45 minutes
Right.
before he saw Dr. Ock.
on the bridge because like a lot of shit like ground
'Cause
was
the
covered.
first
I
part
guess.
was all about finishing off what they had started in the second movie there.
Yeah.
Like about them knowing what his identity is, right? They spent like a good half hour to 45 minutes on that.
Man, the a legitimate criticism that I see a lot of people throwing at like the Doctor Strange scene is, so he says, "I need people to forget who I am," and he goes, "Okay," and then they start the spell, but you never like explain the parameters or said like, "Hey man, just before I start this spell, is there anything you wanna make sure like anyone
Well,
you
the
want to
funniest-
remember or?"
The funniest part about the entire movie, in my opinion, is that it all started because they tried to make everyone forget that he's Spider-Man, and then he ended up having to rinse everyone's head of his
Very
identity.
poetic.
Yeah,
It's very fitting.
Yeah, he tried to alter the spell like 40 times. Like, come on. If he just didn't do that, like we wouldn't have had a movie. It's just him being it's him not like getting the
Thinking through
great
his
power, great
actions.
responsibility shit. It's like, yeah, it's him being a bad Spider-Man, and then hopefully that by the end of the movie, him learning to be better. I guess.
Yeah.
One taking ultimate responsibility
Yeah,
is what ended up
literally
happening.
And
the
becoming
biggest
the ultimate
responsibility.
Spider-Man.
There's like, so the idea that, not idea, but like, I guess complaint that is thrown a little bit at like those, like the first arc of the movie is he just kind of makes mistake after mistake after mistake, which you can say, well, okay, he's a teenager and so, you know, sometimes shit happens and he just wouldn't really think everything through because he's under a lot of pressure, but like, it's almost so unbelievable the amount of accidents or like fuck ups that had to happen in order for the whole multiverse thing to shatter and bring all the villains in, and like it required so much whoops, I did the wrong thing in order to get to the end of the movie.
It's just one fuck up. It's a fuck up of him trying to alter the spell 50 times and Doctor Strange having to stop it midway through.
No,
But
because
no,
then
but
they tried to send them back, and
yeah, and he
wanted to
fucks
help
that
them
up as
instead
well.
of sending them back.
So then he
Yeah,
fucks with
fair.
Doctor Strange and takes the
Yeah,
box with
but
him.
okay. Listen, I wouldn't consider that necessarily a mistake. Him wanting to help them. That's like character.
Him trying
of
to
a
do the right
hero.
thing, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider that a mistake.
Okay,
Because I
hold
think
on.
in the end they showed that was the right decision to try to help
So,
them.
but so there's a couple things. So one is trapping Doctor Strange in the mirror dimension when he tries to send them back. And again, you can say that well, he's trying to help them, and so if he let Doctor Strange out, he would interfere with it. Okay, then he's trying to help them. Well, why did he take all 5 people
Yeah,
who
okay.
are super
that's inexcusable.
villains?
That part's
Yeah.
inexcusable. I don't know why he did that.
I was
One at
losing
a
my
time,
mind that he like it was like a sitcom episode where he just takes like, oh yeah, it's 5 supervillains in Spider-Man, and he just takes them into Happy's apartment. Like
I don't know like what his thoughts was. Was he like, all right, if they like turn evil, I could take all of them at once. No issue.
Well,
Yeah.
am I
Or he
wrong
just had
about
so
the
much trust? He was just like, there's no way they turn bad.
yeah? Am I wrong about the fucking timing of the movie? Or before he took them out of the like sanctum basement thing, he gave MJ the box and said like, if I don't
If
contact
you don't
you,
hear for you, yeah.
hit the
Yeah.
thing, right? How much time
Yeah,
passed
he did.
between that point and Aunt May dying? Because and she goes, oh, I'm gonna press it. He goes, oh, Peter told us to wait until he like told us. It's like,
It was only like a few hours. It wasn't that long. I don't know if they specified how long she's supposed to wait though.
yeah,
They
like,
died at night, and then they all fought at night.
yeah,
So I
right.
feel
So
like it
it
was
would
that
have been
afternoon.
so it would have been at least a couple hours, but I feel like
It was also like November-ish, so like it was already getting dark at, let's say, like 6 o'clock in New York. So kind of makes sense.
yeah, that's fair as well. I kind of feel like she should have been almost like more in the loop of like, oh hey, by the way, things aren't going well here. Please hit the button.
Well, at least FaceTime her while you're doing all this.
Yeah, right. Like be
Well,
on
they
a.
did try before, but his phone got fried. So I'll say like they at least.
But that was the electro
had
thing.
that
Like,
idea.
and Happy called and said like, oh, I saw a bunch of guys go through my security camera. Like, what are you doing? Kind of thing. Like, I feel like there needed to be some sort of. I thought it was going to be like, oh, if I don't, hit this button on my phone to like send you a text message in 2 hours, hit the button. That was going to be like that sort of thing. And then did she even?
Stop thing.
She didn't try to press a button, right? Like, what ended up happening is he just said, oh, we'll find him instead of pressing the button because they never ended up hitting it.
No, they didn't end up hitting it. I think Ned talked her out of it or some shit.
Well, Ned
Yeah.
said, let's just ask where Peter Parker is.
Yeah, because that's when they went.
And
Oh,
that's when they
he told us to wait for him. Let's ask, or let's just try to find him, and he like does the sling ring thing. Or oh, I wish we could just like talk to him and think is what he said, and then the sling ring like made him appear. And also, he just has magical powers now. It's his grandmother. There's the throwaway line about his grandma saying we have magic in our family. I guess that means he's magical.
No, I'm pretty sure it's because he's. I'm like. See, I don't know if that's like actually a thing or it's because he was just wearing the fucking ring.
I think it's
Yeah,
I'm
no,
pretty sure it's because he was wearing the ring.
Yeah, because in the Doctor Strange movies, anyone can use the magic. They just have to like learn how, right? It's not like you don't have to be like special.
I think you do have to have
Yeah, so do I.
It's not just like given, but
'Cause
it's
then
also
Doctor Strange
not-
would be very insignificant.
It's just like
The
really
thing
good
about Strange is
learning.
like
He's
just
studied.
Like, he's like he's a brain surgeon. Like
Yeah,
my man is wicked smart.
like that was what set him apart. It was like who he is as a person.
So is Iron Man, and so is the Hulk.
Right, and so theoretically, they both could have become Sorcerer Supremes if they went down that path. That's kind of like the what if.
That just really like deflates him as a character, though.
I mean,
that
kind of,
everyone
but
could be him.
If you take the same, I guess, if you take the same perspective, that's kind of the issue with Spider-Man then, because like literally anyone could be Spider-Man. It's just a kid who got bit by a
What?
spider. Anyone
Yeah, it's
from
a
his
freak
class
accident.
could have, as I'm saying, anyone from his class could have happened to be in that situation.
Yeah, and that's the truth.
Yeah, and I don't think that detracts from his character.
It's not. That's a whole Peter Parker's responsibility thing. He happens to have like the superpowers of like the spider or whatever, but that's not what makes him Spider-Man. What makes him Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Which I'm saying the same thing for Doctor Strange, right? Like just because he is a sorcerer doesn't mean it's Doctor Strange. It's because of who he was as a person becoming Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, because there's a ton of sorcerers. And like that ring is what lets that ring and them visualizing and the whatever the fuck is what lets them use the portals.
Right.
Yeah.
But like so then to go back to what I was saying with the first part of that is the second he put that ring on and they did like a handshake or whatever and it sparked. So that was like it was pretty right away that he had the ring on and it sparked. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it is like a thing where anyone can do it if they have the sling ring on.
Well, he said that like my grandma.
The grandma.
Said, like,
that's my point. Yeah.
our
Sure,
family
that's
has
like a
magic
joke.
powers. No, it
It
wasn't.
wasn't a joke. That's the point. Yeah.
It was it was a joke to you if you didn't, but like it actually had implications.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. Someone will have to like look that up, but I think they I think anyone can just like use the ring.
I'm on a boat.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll have to look it up for sure.
You said implication, Victor.
So between
Always Sunny.
the, I guess, intro to the two Spider-Man scenes, and then like I guess they go to school to make the like antidotes at the lab.
And it is.
Antidotes. I actually really appreciated the dialogue because I was kind of afraid that they were gonna just be in the movie for the sake of being in the movie and just kind of like, oh, he said the meme line from the like. I mean, Toby said my back, and I lost it.
Yeah.
Well, he said his back. Doc Ock said, "Hello, Peter."
And he said, this powder's sun in the palm of my hands.
And fucking, I'm something of a scientist myself. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
You
like
can't just do that.
if it was like every other line, it would have been too much. But the couple of ones that I used were like really good fucking meme lines that were just great to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad they actually like had some real dialogue that wasn't just like every 2 words. The conversation about the web fluid, I really enjoyed. I'm glad they addressed that because then Toby shoots the web. Like, you guys can't do that.
And he's just like, I don't know how to control it.
Man, the line about is that the only spot that could be
Yeah.
I don't really want to get into the details of how my body produces it.
Do you only shoot webs out of your wrists?
Yeah. I'm out of other places too. Fuck. Fucking nerds have to make your own web fluid.
Well,
and then,
there's like multiple times in the two like Tom Holland and Amazing Spider-Man movies. There's multiple times in like very serious fights where like their web shooters malfunction, and you'd never see that with a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
yeah. And so the reasoning for that
it did happen in Spider-Man though, where like he just couldn't shoot his web.
Spider-Man 2, yeah. And so the
But
reasoning
he even said like that was because like psychological stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because actually, a good point. They brought that up in the movie. He says, "Oh, I've lost my ability to do that, blah blah, blah once because I was going through some stuff." Or whatever, like he addressed it. The actual reasoning why the Sam Raimi Spider-Man doesn't have like web fluid or web shooters is because between like Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, they both kind of agreed that it doesn't make sense that this kid who can create this fucking genius web fluid thing and a shooting mechanism and it has this massive tensile strength, whatever, can't then like make money and has to shoot like, pictures for the Daily Bugle and essentially just be poor. If he had this kind of intelligence, he could make money. So they just didn't see it as realistic to show that this character is like this freaking intelligent, but also can't make doesn't have two pennies to rub together, which I thought was like that's kind of a fine explanation.
Well, it doesn't matter, right? Because the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was like also like like super smart. Like Spider-Man is like super smart, but
yeah,
he was like in like theoretical physics or some shit even.
Yeah, well, at the university, and it definitely would have been the case that he could do something, super professional in the sciences like after he finished university, but I guess during the time he was there was worked at the pizza place in the second movie, and then was taking pictures I guess the entire time, and won the staff job in Spider-Man 3, and then I think Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was also taking pictures. I don't know if he was doing anything else.
Did he work at the scientist, or just like he was like a student?
I think he was like an intern. No, actually, I think in the first movie or second movie,
First one, I think he was
he
an
like
intern.
sneaks in. I thought no, I think he stole somebody else's like badge on a tourist thing. Because his like parents' files were on the computers at Oscorp. Because remember they had the entire like spy subplot in those movies, but like
No, I don't remember. I'm not kidding. I don't fucking remember.
okay, and I swear to God, in those fucking Amazing Spider-Man movies, his parents were actually like secret spies working for like the government or something like that, and they were like killed in a fucking plane crash by like enemy spies, and it turns out that he had been like experimented on as a child, and he was like his father had like a
This is all news to me, bro. I don't remember this shit.
there's like a
I also don't remember.
there's like a flashback scene where like his dad kneels down to like in front of him. He's like a 5-year-old kid and goes, "You're very special, Peter. I want you to know that blah blah blah, and we will return," kind of thing. And that's supposed to be like hinting at that he was experimented on or something like that, which is the reason why the spider thing mutated the way it did, and he's able to like survive it. Because if not, you get like a really bad mutation and turn out like the Dane DeHaan Green Goblin. That's how they explain that away in Spider-Man 2. Is the reason why he mutated is because he didn't actually have like the like genetic like precursor testing you're supposed to have done, and like the treatment beforehand before you actually take the like mutation stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I know. It that was like one of the worst plot points of those fucking movies is making his parents like secret agents. And
Well,
that's
they were scientists. They weren't secret agents.
no, they were working for like I know they were as scientists as well, but like they were working for like the government on like black ops programs or some shit.
Well, no, they were working on the whole spider thing, and I think the bad guy wanted to weaponize it.
And that never even gets explained either, like who like the bad guys who like attacks them. I guess probably for the third movie that never got made, but because they blow up in like a fucking plane crash, but I don't think it explains who the hell is the one who killed them. Nor does anyone even find out. Maybe he finds like a black box from the plane, but either way, I got fucking super sidetracked there. But the scene in the lab, talking about the Spider-Man being smart. We already saw Andrew Garfield make the antidote for the lizard in the first Amazing Spider-Man movie. Toby addressed the fact, not necessarily addressed, but he said, I've been thinking about this for a long time, for Green Goblin, how to fix him. I guess they just kind of like put their brains together and did some science for Electro and for Sandman.
Well, Electro's not very hard. It's literally just you just need what do you call it?
Like a governor to like take away the electricity.
Yeah. Fucking word. Like a grounding thing or something like that to like get rid of the electricity. It's not that difficult. Just obviously just needs to work at a super high voltage rate or whatever the fuck you spits through them.
All right. Well, then how do you take away sand from Sandman?
Yeah, that I don't know. But didn't that happen in the Spider-Man 3? Didn't that already happen?
No. He stayed as Sandman in the end of Spider-Man 3. He just drifted off into in the sunset. He just flew away in the sunset. I'm gonna go see my daughter. I'm gonna go see my daughter, Spider-Man. Sorry, I'm the one who killed your uncle. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. And he says, "I forgive you."
Didn't he always said that? But that was like covered. Because not Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, already like said that I've been thinking about this for like a long time. So he's obviously had like some sort of like shit figured out, and he just like never got around to doing it.
Well, he was saying that for Norman.
For Norman, yeah.
But for all intents,
for Norman and for the.
Okay. See, here's why I don't know if that's the case, because if that was the case, then theoretically he could have just cured Sandman in his own universe. Sandman became like a good guy, and if he knew a way to fucking, like, it might have been hard to get into contact with him, but if he knew a way to cure him, I'm sure Sandman in the Raimi trilogy would have liked to be cured.
Yeah. This whole deal is he fell in by accident. He's trying to be a changed person. He wants to see his fucking daughter.
Yeah. So I think if he like knew outright how to do that, he would have like sought him out to help him. another thing, like while we're talking about like the Spider-Man conversing with each other, they didn't really talk about anything that happens post their last movie entry, minus Peter still saying he's with Mary Jane in a sort of fashion.
Okay,
It's
but
like
we made it
they
work.
made it work, yeah. And then Andrew Garfield said that he let the rage like consume him.
Bruh, I had 28 levels of XP.
Oh, you can get the XP from an XP farm.
We have infinite.
Yeah, but I didn't fucking. That was my first death.
Yeah, well, it happens.
That's not that it happens. That's fucking gay. I was trying to see how high I can get without fucking dying.
Oh, too late.
Now I get 7. Congratulations.
Well,
But a fucking
well, the
third
answer was 28.
or a quarter. Fucking Christ.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, Andrew Garfield. Like again, it was kind of like almost a throwaway comment, but he said like he's like shit got really bad and let the rage consume him. It's like I kind of want them to explore that a little bit more, which is why I'm kind of happy they're talking about like doing an Amazing Spider-Man 3, because if it's gonna pick up like right where this movie left off, what has he been doing for the last 6 years, and what's Tobey been doing for the last 14 years? Like it didn't seem like they wanted to like kind of give anything away, I guess. Because I'm also hearing like reports that they might do another Tobey Spider-Man movie,
That's not happening.
and that's exactly my thought. Like there's no way they're gonna do that.
There's not a chance that happens.
But Andrew Garfield,
That might happen.
again, potentially being the Spider-Man for the Venomverse, because we saw that Venom wasn't in, like the main MCU universe. He got pulled in the end credit scene of Venom 2, so there could be a Venom or a Spider-Man in his universe. But I think they would know that at the same time as well, right?
James, I really appreciate how your staircase is just one huge swastika.
Yeah, the banter in general, just between the three Spider-Man, like actually is made me really happy to see on screen. Like there's a little bit of comedic stuff, but they also addressed like they addressed the relationship thing, they addressed the web
Just
shooter
so
thing.
much wood.
My next question is: do you think the movie would stand up on its own? Like, imagine you hadn't seen any of the other Spider-Man movies, like that aren't the Tom Holland ones. So you've seen the MCU ones, you haven't seen the Raimi trilogy or the Mark Webb like 2 movies. Do you think this movie stands up?
Yeah. I think
Well,
having just the
plus-
fact that there's 2 other Spider-Mans makes this like an insanely cool
No,
Spider-Man
but it's
movie.
all connected. Like there's also Doctor Strange, and there's it's all the villains are not original villains, so you kind of already expect there to be a backstory with all the villains.
Because you get introduced to the villains for the first time as well. Like I don't know who this person is who hasn't seen any of those movies, but I imagine there's somebody who hasn't seen the other movies and watched this.
They have no business watching it then.
I kind of agree.
Like
My
that's
sister
that's
said
like
she
watching.
wanted to see
But that's
it.
like
Was
watching
Endgame or
Star Wars
Infinity War.
6 without watching the 5 that came before it.
Yeah.
You're
There are
hereby
people like that though.
not allowed to watch the movie by the council.
Or like, why don't you go watch the last Lord of the Rings movie? Like,
Yeah, I mean that is an issue with kind of the Marvel thing in general, especially with the TV shows now. Is like, at what point do you go, I didn't see X, so I don't understand why?
Well, that's hopefully they've kind of addressed that with the reset ending of this one. Now is that they don't have to go back and be like, oh, I was an Avenger. I know Tony Stark, all this shit. Now it's like, okay, now I'm just a fucking dude. Hopefully that's where they can like actually stop piling on more and more bullshit.
So like I was just about to say, I am really excited to see what they do with like if the next call it Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. They were setting up like a Sinister Six thing at the end of the first like Homecoming movie with Michael Keaton.
I mean, they still could be.
Michael Keaton's in Morbius.
Yeah, but he might just be like a cameo.
But that's what I'm saying. But Morbius takes place in the Venom universe, not in.
No, it obviously doesn't if he's fucking there.
That's what I'm saying. Apparently it does, which I don't understand.
I don't. You're saying apparently, but I have confirmation, aka the trailer, that that he exists in the same universe as like Michael Keaton, aka like Vulture or whatever, which is from our Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man universe.
Right.
You can just say that like, well, I think whatever.
I'm pretty sure Sony's like confirmed that he's in the same universe.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, I can find like an article or something where they comment on it, but I'm like almost positive because they have like they were doing their own like Spider-Verse, I guess is what you'd call it. They're doing their own Spider-Verse on like the Sony Pictures like side of it that isn't just Marvel, or I guess isn't the amalgamation of Sony and Marvel, with all of the other Spider-Man characters. Like I think they're gonna do a Craven movie as well, and they're all gonna be set in the same universe as Venom. So that's why I don't understand the whole thing with Michael Keaton being in Morbius. But I guess we're gonna find out. Which reminds me, I hate Jared Leto.
Is
Wow.
Morbius the Sandman?
No, vampire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's the Jared Leto vampire movie. I think it's gonna be out soon, actually. Now that I'm on topic of Venom, I wanted Venom to actually be in this movie. I know there's
Same.
already 5 villains, plus Doctor Strange, plus Daredevil, plus 3 Spider-Men, but like, you drag him into the universe just to teleport him back out and leave like a little bit of goop behind. Like I'm intrigued by the fact that they're gonna tackle Venom because like I don't see what else they're gonna do with that. So maybe they're gonna give the next Spider-Man movie is gonna be like a solo.
Imagine emo's Tom Holland.
Yeah, I would love to see them do that. Or like he tufts his hair down like the way Tobey Maguire did and goes, oh, that looks stupid.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I would love to see them do that. Because I mean,
It's
like,
just
why
a
else?
fucking walk down the street, man.
Yeah, why else put that in the movie if you're not like gonna address it, right?
I think it's just one of those things where it gives them another option for them to do something. Like it might not happen like right now, but like it gives them options, and they could be like even if they don't do Venom the next movie, they can do it the one after or whatever.
And they are making a Venom 3 as well, but that's again the thing with like teleporting Tom Hardy out of the universe is okay. So then is Tom Hardy not gonna fight Spider-Man like Tom Holland? Then that's when the Andrew Garfield thing comes back up because he that end credit scene existed just to leave the symbiote behind in like current MCU.
Yeah.
So it makes me think like,
So is that gonna be the next Spider-Man villain?
Right.
Are they gonna do that shit again?
and
I hope not.
if they are gonna do the Sinister Six thing as well, then they might give him the black suit in order to have more power to fight the Sinister Six. Because otherwise, without the Avengers' help, and by himself fighting 6 villains, and he's got no, Edith or Stark technology. I don't know if I guess he probably still has the nano suit, but even then, I think he's kind of fucked. So they might give him the black suit to fight the Sinister Six and make it more even. That might be how they do that, which I'd be okay with. And then Daredevil, throw a Daredevil team up in there somehow. Daredevil and black suit Spidey. Cool. Trying to think if there's any like things that really stood out. I mean, like the fight scenes with Doctor Strange, it's neat. Like the special effects in general are neat in the mirror dimension. It was also kind of just like a lot of, I don't want to say nothing going on, but the scene where he's like, "Oh, look, it's geometry," and just like shoots a bunch of webs that you don't even really see what they're doing, and then tangle Doctor Strange. It's like, it feels kind of cheap, man. I don't know. I don't think it should have been like that easy to grab him.
I also really enjoyed the scene where Spider-Man and Strange were flying around.
Like in that fight scene, like the mirror dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think overall, I just really like
It's
Doctor
just
Strange as a
geometry.
character.
I think Doctor Strange was good in the movie for sure. It's just partially because Benedict Cumberbatch is a great actor.
Thanks, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Say eggs Benedict Cumberbatch.
Trying to just like scan the movie, like what's left to talk about. I mean, even from the very beginning, I guess the MIT thing.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're doing the MIT thing instead of like. I'm surprised. I'll be interested if they actually go with like, oh, so he actually goes to University of New York like NYU or Empire
Because
State
they're
University,
not
whatever the
gonna.
fuck they call it.
Are they gonna put him in Boston?
Yeah, like there's no way that he like goes to fucking Boston as Spider-Man.
They already tossed him out of New York for the first two movies, or actually not for the first two movies. I guess for the second movie, but I don't really see like they're gonna just like, oh yeah, well Spider-Man moves to Boston this movie and he's Spider-Man in Boston. I think it'd be more likely that the movie takes place like in the summer, and MJ and Ned come home from the university after their first year. So we skip like a year into the future from like this movie coming out. He's been Spider-Man now in New York without them for a year. They come home for the summer, and then something goes awry, and he
Yeah,
interacts with
makes
them
sense to me.
again. I think that's the way that they would handle that. So when Doctor Strange lost at him for not even talking to like the admissions to plead his case,
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
like, bro, that is Tony Stark's.
Job to be like, you're a fucking idiot kid. Yeah.
No, it's not Tony Stark. It's that's the school Tony Stark went to, was MIT,
Yes.
and they know that he's Spider-Man and that he was like Tony Stark's, I guess, apprentice, if you want to call it that. You think he'd be like, oh hey, just so we know, like you call Pepper Potts on the phone. It's like how much millions of dollars or how many billions of dollars have like been given MIT in grants? Like, wasn't that the thing in Civil War?
Yeah, that's actually a great point.
That was the
Why,
thing in
you
like
really
Iron Man
not call
2.
Pepper and be like, hey,
None of my friends can get into school only because I'm Spider-Man. Can you like get on it? Do something about that shit?
Well, but it was all fixed anyways after he talked to the admissions.
Right, but after he'd already
the point
fucked
is,
everything up.
This is supposed to be some genius kid and he's acting like a fucking retard.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That's like that thing from like 30 minutes ago when I said like he makes like mistake after mistake after mistake in this movie. A lot of people are chalking that to like, oh well, he's still a high school kid. It's like, yeah, he's like 18 years old, but the last movie he literally made a mistake of like mistrusting Mysterio, and then oh look, whoops, I guess I shouldn't have done that, and then he does it again in this movie with Willem Dafoe. He immediately is trusting of the guy who he already knows is a villain, but he's like, help me, Peter, I'm lost. Someone else is in my home.
me, Peter.
There's no Oscorp. My son Harry. It's like shit, dude. Like, and I was kind of buying it for a second in the theater as well. Like, is Willem Dafoe just that good of a fucking actor, or like?
I think it's up to interpretation whether or not that was like actually like the Goblin like putting on a charade, or if it was actually fucking Norman Osborn being like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, he
But
did like
he is
break the
both,
mask
right?
and
He is,
suit,
like-
right?
Yeah,
What's the
true.
What's the line he says? It's like goblins taking over, honey, or some shit like that. He calls him honey.
No, he's on sabbatical. Norman's on sabbatical, honey.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. I actually can't get over. Like, I think Willem Dafoe's like 66 years old now. He just fucking killed that movie. Like, he hasn't. Yeah, like he showed up in Spider-Man 3 a little bit. I think just in like the flash, not necessarily flashbacks, but like the scenes with the like Harry and the like he's looking into a mirror. For coming back after 14 years, like holy shit, did he do a good job? Just again, like the Spider-Man gets outclassed by his villains in all these movies.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally the same thing with the other two Spider-Man movies in the MCU. Fucking Michael Keaton obviously is a fucking BAMF.
Jake Gyllenhaal did a great
Jake
job.
Gyllenhaal
Yeah.
like carried that fucking movie so hard. Goodwood.
Yeah. I'm also glad that when they, like, I was expecting when they dealt with Doc Ock by giving him like the neural transmitter thing that fixed it, like the broken one, that I thought Electro was just gonna fry it again. That's what happened in Spider-Man 2. Is like it got overcharged and then fried. I thought the second Electro removed his like thing that like was a power dampener. He was immediately just gonna fry Otto's thing because he said like I'd like you better before, and then like I think he like sent him out the window.
That makes sense.
Dr. Octo Octavian.
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna fry the thing again. Again, I'm also like, why is Sandman a bad guy in this movie?
He's not a bad guy per se.
He's
He's
not
like,
a bad
he's
guy.
just like, I just want to get back to my fucking universe. If you can fix me on the way, then great.
Right, but Jamie Foxx didn't want to go back to his universe.
Yeah, because he's a he's like an actual villain. Sandman, like even in Spider-Man 3, Sandman's not like a villain.
Yeah, I think you're missing my point. Jamie Foxx wants to go. Wants to stay. Sandman wants to go back. They have opposite goals, and they team up.
Team up. I think they both want the box, but Jamie Foxx wants the box to I don't know, fucking destroy it or some shit, so they can't be used. And Sandman wants so he can press the button.
Okay, they were
Set
like,
himself back.
absolutely teaming up at the end of the fucking movie.
Yeah, for the mutual goal, they're probably just gonna fight over it afterwards.
But wouldn't it make more sense from him? Like, I get like, uh, maybe he wasn't like positive about this, but Spider-Man, one of them or all of them, were going to send them home after they fixed the situation. Maybe he didn't trust that he was going to be able to fix it, but teaming up with the person who wants to stay there and destroy the box doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right, maybe he thought that he could, like
Trick
murk
him
the
and
Electro. Yeah.
2006 or 8 or whatever, it was a different time.
2007.
Didn't really think highly of Oswald.
Um, is anything like any other like plot hole type thing is that I'm missing? I mean, well, okay, yeah, like the other major one is they said they brought in everyone who knows who Spider-Man, like Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but Electro never actually finds out that he's Peter Parker when he gets brought like he gets brought back from or brought forward, I should say, when he like enters the power grid in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but he never actually figures out who Peter Parker is.
Yeah, that's like the big plot hole that everybody's talking about. How
Yeah.
he could because he doesn't actually know, even like Andrew Garfield like doesn't know he doesn't know who Andrew Garfield is.
Yeah. I don't think the Lizard actually did either. Like maybe I'm misremembering the first movie, but I'm pretty sure Lizard also didn't realize it was Peter.
No, the lizard knew at the end because
The
he
end of
was
the movie?
dying, and then he was like, "Make me a promise, stay away from Gwen." And then
That wasn't
Peter
Lizard, that was
No,
Captain Stacy.
that
That's
was
Dennis Leary.
Yeah, Dennis Leary,
Oh,
police
alright.
chief.
But you just reminded me. I think he actually did know because in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, isn't there a scene where he's in the sewer and he's trying to get a picture of the Lizard and he has a camera that has like his name like not taped on, what the hell's it called? Like grammed on it, or what's the word?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I
Engraved?
don't remember what it's called.
No, not engraved. Like it's like a printed like sticker thing that you put with like
Yeah.
like monogrammed or something like that. And like the camera that he was using to take pictures of Daily Bugle had like his name on it. And I think Lizard picked up and like looked at him and Parker, and then so I think he actually did know it was him. But it makes sense for him, I guess, just not for Jamie Foxx. I like again, I can forgive that just for the sake of them wanting to put like only like a character from each movie into this movie, and as long as they're gonna put fucking Dane DeHaan Goblin from Amazing Spider-Man 2. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up everything that I can think of to talk about with the movie. Like I just in general, I don't think I think you said you give it like an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think again, judging it on its own, I think that's a fair rating. Judging it with like nostalgia and the fact that what they're doing and bringing everyone like on screen together, the third act of the movie for me is like a 9.5 out of 10. There's like very minor tweaks I would have made, but it's like cinematography type of stuff where like I would have like wanted to see a shot like this or
Oh, I hate how fucking dark it was all the time, but I'm like 99% sure that's CGI budget. I want to get that out there.
yeah. Yeah,
Especially in the last half, it's just fucking dark.
I hate that like every fucking movie does that nowadays, where it's just like all the action is taking place when it's pitch black. And I guess again, CGI budget sure, but just like I want to see what's going on. Like I need to watch the movie again just to see what the hell's going on in that last fight scene. And I mean, even the one in the apartment building, they're kind of going in between floors, but I think the lights like cut out like when they get to the ground, and it's super hard to see what's going on as well there. So yeah, the darkness thing was annoying, but yeah. So I'd give the last third of the movie a 9.5 out of 10, and then the movie as a whole, I think I'd give like 8.5 to 9. I think I can get as far as just maybe it's because the last couple Marvel movies like we saw weren't amazing. Like Black Widow and Shang-Chi were all right, but as far as this one goes, and it's also like way better as a Spider-Man movie. Like as like one of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, it's definitely, in my opinion, the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
Not to say that the other ones are particularly bad, so this one was like
stood
head
out
and shoulders.
a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually yeah. So the last thing I'll bring up is, would you consider this trilogy as like an origin trilogy rather than having an origin movie for the new version of this, like of the Tom Holland character, like of his Spider-Man? Because he went through all of the stuff in sort of Civil War, both Avengers movies, and then now his 3 Spider-Man movies. So he's kind of learned a lot, and for the most part in the comics, Spider-Man is like when it's university age Spider-Man. It's not high school Spider-Man. So they kind of took a long time to get him out of high school, and so now they've kind of put like everything in like from in rear view, I guess, to do a hard reset.
Yeah. So what you're asking if
If
that was
this
like
is
a
an-
trilogy that got wrapped up and now we're like starting the fresh one?
One, if it's a trilogy that got wrapped up, but two, if you would consider this trilogy to be like an origin trilogy, and now the next movie will be like the actual like this will be Spider-Man, not Spider-Man as Iron Boy Jr.
Interesting
Um,
question.
Because that's
I
something
think
that I
he
see
for
people talking
sure.
about.
I think this is his origin story, right? Like um like he got the whole like with great power comes with great responsibility thing, but he also, I don't know, he literally went from like a kid who was like just had like a cloth like paper like mask and shit, and he had to like figure out all this stuff. Like he made so much mistakes, and then I think he is now Spider-Man, and then the next set of trilogies or whatever the movies are going to be is going to be him as Spider-Man,
Yeah,
not as like Peter Parker boy, you know.
mini Avenger trainee person. Yeah,
Exactly.
which
He's a fully
I'm
fledged like superhero figuring his shit out. Like,
yeah.
you know, like with yeah.
Which, again, yeah, I'm very excited for because that was one of my just general complaints about like this trilogy of movies. Not again, not necessarily the entire trilogy, but the first 2 for sure is it relies so much on being like a Marvel movie that it doesn't feel like it's a Spider-Man movie.
Well, that's why like what do you call it? I agree and disagree with the trilogy of that being like the origin trilogy. I would say the first 2 movies were just fucking Marvel movies, and this movie was the actual origin. If you wanted to classify it as that.
It's just like this is the origin movie. You're saying.
Yes.
Okay, which yeah, I think that actually that makes sense again because that's sitting with the ending of the movie like as like the origin point, I guess, for the like the new iteration, or not necessarily origin, I guess, but the jumping off point for the new movies. And like Victor brought up, the great power, great responsibility thing was finally said to him, and so I guess he never actually got that version of speech from like the Uncle Ben that I guess died in his universe that we still never fucking heard about, pretty much.
I don't think I just don't think he had one. I just don't think Aunt May married.
No, because the I'm pretty sure the suitcase he has in Far From Home has Ben Parker written on it.
Did it? I didn't know.
I think that was like the I guess the nod to Uncle Ben is the suitcase had like a tag, or not necessarily a tag, but maybe like a label on it that said B Parker. And I think at some point else they've mentioned, or like Aunt May mentioned about like it's kind of hard now losing somebody, whatever. They never really directly talked about him, but he's referenced like a couple times and that's it. So I think now, having heard give the speech, so I guess that's one of the other things that maybe failed at making him Spider-Man in these first 3 movies is he never actually had that speech, and Tony was kind of the Uncle Ben for him,
Yeah,
but it
that's
didn't.
fair because he died.
Yeah. And then I guess I mean they kill Uncle Ben, and like I said, I don't really know how much of an impact that actually had to his character. But then they kill Tony. I feel like that's okay. So then this is the Uncle Ben moment. And it's like even that didn't feel like it was like really serving the purpose it's supposed to. So we're gonna kill Aunt May too. It's like, hold on for a second. You're gonna kill everyone this kid knows.
I mean,
Because he has like no one now, right? Like
yeah,
he's got literally no one.
That's the point of this movie, though,
the
right?
point,
'Cause
Yeah.
he restarts as Spider-Man.
Well, actually, yeah. That reminded me of one last thing, which was there's a big deal made in. I want to say it's the end of Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire ones, where Mary Jane like leaves her like wedding on like leaves John Jameson on the at the altar to go back to Toby, and essentially say like I can make my own choices. If I want to be with Spider-Man, you can't make that choice for me. So the whole moment is, obviously he doesn't want her to be in danger and he wants her to be protected, and so he's willing to sacrifice his relationship with her to keep her safe. And she goes, no, it's not your decision to not be with me because you think I need protecting. It's my decision that I want to be with you. I was kind of expecting to kind of rehash that a little bit, but it seems like he literally just made the decision like, she has the cut on her forehead from she has the band-aid on her forehead, so I think she's just better off without me. And that still at that moment was kind of like, that's kind of a rookie.
Wait, hold on. What, are you talking about the very end when he goes to the coffee
So the
shop?
very end of the movie, the whole point of the bandage on Mary or MJ's forehead there was that he was like gonna tell her kind of like the
I disagree.
life story thing, and then he sees the bandage and goes, "Oh, I don't want her to get hurt."
No, disagree. Hard disagree.
What do you think it was?
I think the bandit was just literally a like a talking point or whatever, and just something because he fumbled it. He got there. He's like, oh, blah blah blah. My name's Peter, and he just like couldn't fucking go through with it. So he chickened out, not chickened out because like it was kind of stupid to just go and say like, oh, by the way, we used to be boyfriend girlfriend in a different like, but you forgot. It's
Yeah,
like, okay,
the
that's not gonna work. So he's like, okay, this is stupid. Make small talk. You're bandit or whatever. I don't think it had anything to do with him not wanting to be with her because it's better for her.
No,
I
I agree
feel like
with Luke
again, the
here.
whole point is the next movie is him going to be like figuring out how to get back together with her.
see, I don't think so. I
I
think
think he wants to protect her.
yeah,
100%.
I'm more on Luke's side as well there. Yeah.
Really?
yeah, I think he is
I
absolutely
think
like he wants her to be safe and like because he thinks he blames himself. That's the whole thing about like him
I
saying
get that.
he was fucking over his friends by existing essentially, or, like by Peter Parker, by them knowing Peter Parker.
Yeah, because
So
they can get to university. They got hurt because of him. Blah blah blah. Like yeah, he was like yeah no.
So he made the decision. Okay, fine. They don't know Peter Parker, and I'm not gonna tell them because I don't want them to get hurt again. That's why the bandage scene was like, oh, she still has this scar or whatever it is from what happened. Again, I don't know how much time actually passed between the ending of the movie and like the ending of the movie, but I'm assuming it wasn't like maybe it's like a week or something or less. She has the bandage on because like her head's still cut from what happened. He blames himself for that, so he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. It's better off if I just like don't know you guys. You don't have to be worried about being injured. I don't have to worry about you guys getting injured come Spider-Man.
Because that was like the
Respectfully, I
whole point
disagree.
at the beginning of the movie, right? It comes full circle for him.
Yeah, yeah, because he wanted his cake and to eat it too. In terms of like he wants all of his friends to like know he's Spider-Man and go to MIT together, and him to be able to continue doing what he's doing, and it's just not gonna work.
Mhm.
So then the big decision at the ending of the movie is I'm gonna have to make this huge sacrifice, but it's not about me. It's about them being safe and being able to have good lives. So like I said, yeah. So that's the bouncing off point for like, and then we get new Spider-Man. New Spider-Man is gonna be Mr. Solo Act. Hopefully not have any like Avengers sort of MCU stuff go on in the next movie, and then maybe Sinister Six and Venom or whatever. But I'm excited to see what they do.
Is Tom Holland confirmed for another movie?
Probably. Actually, I don't know if it's
Confirmed?
confirmed,
It
but
is. It is. It is. It
It
is
is
confirmed
confirmed.
because they announced they didn't want. It was a quote from whatchamacallit, the producer, I think, that said he didn't want all the fans to go through the same PTSD they did after the second one when they didn't confirm the third one. It was
Feige,
all up in the
yeah,
air, and they
yeah.
had to like secure it and then kill rumors and all that shit. So they already confirmed him for a fourth.
Yeah, I saw that like, earlier today. I think like because it was about the Sony issue after Far From Home came out, and so that he came like right out and said like they are gonna they didn't give like any details, but they said they are gonna continue with like his character. So he's
Or
not
the fuck they do the next Avengers or whatever too. Like Doctor Strange is obviously taking on Tony Stark's role, but like Spider Man's gonna be like one of the main like people, I assume.
See,
Like
I
after he
don't know
goes through his
anymore.
shit.
I don't know anymore either. Yeah.
Cap is here. I don't know because we still have Cap. We still have Thor. Um,
There's
Bruce
Captain
Banner's still a
Marvel.
thing.
Bruce Banner's still there. Yeah.
Um, like I think I don't know if you guys seen.
Haven't
But
haven't seen Hawkeye yet. No.
I know he's,
it's
I know
not,
he's
it's actually
training a
really
new
good.
person.
It's actually really good, but I don't think Hawkeye's coming back. But we are
Probably
going to
not.
get a new Black Widow. So I don't know if the Black
That's
Widow is going to
confirmed
be
for like that's like the new event. No, what does they call it? It's her and fucking buddy's name. Russell. Why Russell?
Oh, Captain. Like, yeah. Not U.S. Agent.
U.S. agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's like, but there's like it's U.S. agent and like Florence Pugh's character. I don't remember her.
Yelena Bakova.
Right,
Benova,
but
something
like
like
there's
that.
some sort of other team that they're on. I just don't remember what the fuck it's
Oh,
called.
like in the comics.
Yeah, because that's why fucking Julie
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is setting
Elaine
up.
was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
hey, oh, death is terrible, and she's like trying to crack Seinfeld jokes, and like dying, mourning her sister's tomb. Anyway,
Yeah. I don't think. I don't know if Spider-Man is going to be in the next Avengers movie, whenever that is, because
that's gonna be for like at least 3 years, I guess.
Yeah, I actually like wouldn't be surprised if the next Spider-Man movie happened before the next Avengers movie, and I think like by the end of that movie he'll be like back in the fold of it.
Yeah.
well, because everyone
you
still
gotta
knows.
imagine
I agree with that.
Everyone
If
still
the
knows
gaps,
Spider-Man.
if the year gaps continue, then he'll be like easily like mid to late 20s by the time they do the next Spider-Man movie. So like he'll be like
He's
Yeah, he'll be
26
aging
now.
up pretty quick.
Oh, you're
yeah.
saying the character. You're saying the character. Yeah.
I
right
mean,
because
he's
like
the actor.
Far From Home he was probably like 16,
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds about right.
and then this movie he was obviously graduated high school looking at
It's
Like
18.
18 because
supposed
the
to be.
U.S. Yeah.
18 or 19. So you'd think I guess that would make him like 22, 23 if
I'm sure we won't have as big of a gap as well because like the COVID production stuff like issues aren't gonna hopefully happen anymore.
I mean, there's only 2 years between this movie and the last Spider-Man movie. They knock one out every 2 years, so they're actually like. Was this one even delayed?
I think it was.
It was, yeah.
Okay, so it wouldn't have been like a super long delay though, because
I think it was delayed at least 6 months, if not more.
really, actually, I guess well, yeah, Far From
I
Home
think
came out
they
like
delayed
July,
it.
right?
I think they delayed it so that they can show the other movies, Shang-Chi and Internals.
Well, yeah, because they pushed like they took the entire like chunk of movies and moved them
well
all
that's the other
back,
thing too is
right?
how are
So,
they
like,
gonna work Shang-Chi into it because like they're obviously not gonna just let that be the end of it, right?
Oh no, yeah,
No,
because
he
Wong
said
is
he's
in.
coming back.
Wong was at the end of Shang-Chi, and he like got him into the portal. So Shang-Chi's gonna be the next Avengers type thing as well, like for
Yeah,
sure.
Wong's the new like Nick Fury for this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah.
All right, well
Nick
I'm
Fury
going
is-
to go to bed, fellas.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I think this is a good jumping off point. Anyway, to stop the Spider-Man talk, because gone for like an hour and a half.
You're gone for
But-
more than
so
that,
yeah,
bro.
here-
It's been like 2 hours.
So the last thing, what is your guys' rating of the movie?
Call somebody out to start.
Rigas.
I would say like out of 10.
Yeah.
Whole ratings only, or can you do like halves?
You can do
Yeah, we
half.
can
Yeah,
do
do whatever
points.
your points. Yeah, you can go 8.2 or whatever, like 8, 9 point whatever.
Okay, I think 8.5.
Okay, and Peter.
I also said 8.5, but I'm leaning more towards an 8, honestly, than a 9.
I'd say I'm probably closer to a 9, but
Yeah, I'd say like so. I guess I mentioned earlier that I really like the last third of the movie. I'd say like total rating like close to 8.9. Like especially the nostalgia, but like the last like third of the movie really carried it for me. So I'd say like 8.9. Like it's up there. Victor's mic is muted right now.
Talking to his mom or some shit.
Give him 30 seconds to pop back in and answer.
I get the Jeopardy music going.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
Wait, James, did you say yours? Or James already
James,
left?
he left. I think he mentioned earlier. Well, I don't know if he said an actual rating number, but I know he really enjoyed them.
Not a number.
Yeah.
That is
How do you really enjoy on a scale of 1 to 10?
that is not a number. You're correct.
Not a number.
Victor, can you
Yeah.
you want to put your number in the chat?
No, he does not.
Yes. He is not okay. Well, that's good enough then. I think 8.9, closer to an 8 and 8.5. But the average of 8.5, I think, is fair. Wasn't the greatest movie ever, but especially for like an MCU movie like recently, like it served its purpose. And I really enjoyed it, like entertainment wise. So
It's the most enjoyable MCU movie since like Infinity War for me.
yeah, or Endgame.
I just purposely skipped Endgame.
Oh, okay. Well,
In the rating system, I mean.
right.
not
Okay.
Endgame.
Yeah. All right. And there. All right, Victor. What was if you had to, so out of 10 and you can go like point whatever the hell, like what was your rating of the movie or like any justification, whatever.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna go with an 8.
Okay.
All right, we have 2 8, or wait, yeah, 2 8s. No, wait, 8.5, 8.5, and 8.9. But one of the 8.5
There's a
is
soft 8.5 and one's a hard
soft
8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
You have like a reasoning for 8?
reason I don't know. It was obviously like super good. But I felt like I felt like they were like trying a little too hard. Just like a little bit. Like they were like they were trying to like please the people, which I get is like the whole point of like the movie bringing back like Toby Maguire and Andrew Garfield, but like it lacked its own sort of like spirit that like made it like exceptional, if that makes sense. It was kind of like the thing that we wanted it to be, and less its own
Its
thing.
own thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nostalgia bait, yeah.
yeah,
I fell for nostalgia bait. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. So that's the
yeah,
thing. It's like I can't complain too much because I also felt like if Toby and Andrew weren't in the movie, then I would have been more upset than being like, oh,
mhm.
but they were nostalgia baiting me. It's like, yeah, but it worked.
Yeah. But I hate nostalgia bait, and I can see that shit coming.
Yeah.
So um, I don't know. That's my
Yeah. 8. That's
rating.
yeah. All right. All right. That wraps up our No Way Home podcast. I'm sure we'll do more of these in the future. So subscribe and stick around. Thanks for watching.